Hi everyone, this is Pierrick from P2 Design. In my last two videos, we learned about the structure of an animated movie and how to link assets in Blender. In this video, let's discover the production steps and workflow as usual in Blender for your 3D animated project. Let's get started. If you're alone or part of a team, whatever the size of your project, you obviously need to write down a script first. I won't focus on that here, but you need to write down what's gonna happen, when, where, and why, and from there you can start storyboarding. If you want to storyboard directly in Blender, you can use Grease Pencil, and Blender 5 offers new workflows. Check out Pablico's video to discover Blender story tools. The level of detail you'll put in that stage will greatly depend, as everything else, on your resources. Do you have a dedicated storyboard artist? Do you have time and budget for that? Do you have the skills? You don't need a super detailed storyboard to get started, and you can work with basic thumbnails just to have an idea of your framing. On the other hand, if you have the time and skills, you can go for full animatic for each of your shots. Think of it as an animated storyboard. It's easier to take decisions at this stage, as it's faster to make rough drawing than modeling and posing everything. Some studios greatly rely on this stage, working with legendary storyboard artists and animators to get a vision of the movie as soon as possible. The layout stage is where or when we 3D animators can get started. The idea is to use primitives or very rough poses to create a first version of our shots. What matters the most here is the scale and camera work. Based on the storyboard or animatic, we need to get the camera motion as polished as possible. It doesn't mean it's gonna be final, but this is what animators and environment artists will work with. So having good framing and composition to know what's gonna be seen in the shot and a good rhythm for the animator is important. Keep it simple, use cubes or very low poly meshes for your environment. You can use a bouncing ball for your character if rhythm is key in the shot, or just a rest pose of the character that you moved in space for composition. The animator can and should link the characters to be animated in a specific shot file. The characters, camera and environment should have a dedicated collection. The idea is that you can start working on your animation from the layout file. That's why scale and rhythm is important in the previous stage. As you animate, you can give feedbacks to the rigging team, and if there's any fix or new features to be added to your character rig. At this stage, and honestly in the previous stage too, you need a solid versioning workflow for your Blender files. Each asset should have a master file or root file, you can call it as you want, but this is the famous file tagged as final that will be linked to all the other files. Let's take the character rig as an example. Your master file will be called character master, for example. In this file, we need to find a dedicated collection that will be linked in the shot files. It features the control rig and the character geometry. This file name may never change, and this master collection name neither. This is what Blender will look for when reloading a file wherever the asset is linked. This is also why you should always use a relative path for your textures, files, etc. This way you can work on a server, like a Dropbox for example, and the file path will be the same for all the users. Back to our master Blender file, you can also have meta rigs or assets used to update the character in separate collections that won't be linked. Let's say you start animating and you need a rig or model update. You should never work on the master file. Instead, create a new version of it for each update. Using the date to name the version is a good way. For example, master file 2026-1602. And you can finish with an additional version number at the end. Once you updated the rig or the model as you want, save your file and overwrite the master file with this file. When the file in which the character is linked is reloaded, it will be automatically updated. And if there is a bug on that version of the file, you can easily open a previous version and use it to overwrite the master file and update all the files the character is linked to. And basically, this workflow is to be applied for everything. We just saw how you could manage your linked character, and I guess this is what most of my audience will do. Now think of it for your whole project. From the layout, we create a master animation file per shot, generally named after the sequence, scene, and shot number. Check out this video if you want to learn more about this. In this file, you'll find the layout environment in a collection for the camera, a collection for the characters, and a collection for the final environment. Or you can call it the actual environment or the rendered environment. Characters are linked from the rigging or character master file. Both the environment and animator work from the same layout, so they have the same camera motion and framing. The animator can work on a work-in-progress file using a proper naming convention, using the date for example, and at the end of the day, or when the animation is finished, he can save the file as a whip and overwrite the master animation file too. The environment artist can do the same, add more details to the environment, save it as a whip, and also overwrite the master environment file. The animator can have linked the environment from the environment file, while the environment artist can link the action from the animator's file. The same can be done in a master file used for render and compositing. This way, the animator can preview his animation in the evolving environment, and so does the environment artist. Their work is gathered in a master file that is then used for editing or review from the director. And you can add as many levels as you want for VFX, lighting, etc. File management is generally given to one or several technical artists that will make sure that nothing breaks and fix the files for the artist. I worked on a few larger scale projects, and on some of them, as a rigger or an animator, you just have to open your file, do your rigging or animation and save, while the whole file management is dealt with by the technical team and the producers. Here is the big plan. The writer feeds the storyboard and animatic artist. The concept artist feeds the look dev artist that models and shades the characters. The look dev artist feeds the rigger. In the meantime, the storyboard artist feeds the layout artist. The animator is fed by the rigger, layout, and storyboard artist. The environment artist is fed by the layout, storyboard, and concept artist. And often enough in between there is a prop artist that also feeds the environment artist. The environment artist and animator feeds the VFX and lighting artist that finally plugs everything in render file used by the compositor and finally the editor. All of this organized by the technical department and the producers. Every day each shot is updated in a preview of the film that the director can edit. You should try to apply this workflow to your own production wherever the size. You'll get used to it, you get more flexibility, and you get more chances to land a job on a bigger project. I hope this video can help you in your animated productions, and remember that the most important thing is to have fun doing it. This is the end of this video, I'll see you in the next one.